Hello everyone, it's Sandra and this is my Coleus journey so far this year. I'm really grateful to Jim from Jim's Wholiest of Coleus for walking people through all the steps in Coleus cultivation. Although you start quite cramped with the seeds in containers, as some plants grow faster than others, that's the time to look at which ones are getting colors developed. You can really see some stunning colors coming along in this mix. And you decide which ones you're going to put in individual pots by the size and the color. I actually thin them out in the pots and eventually move them to their own 4-inch pot. Here they're getting their first taste of sunshine on a warm day. They are now too big for my grow lights, but according to Jim, this is the time to move them to a greenhouse if you have one available, and as luck would have it, I did. This is also the time that you start thinking about what you want to do with the various colors that are emerging. Jim says to match the plants with each other and the pot. Let the fun begin. In this stunning ceramic pot, I decided to go with a really intense two-tone lime green Coleus. It's just a beauty all on its own, accented by the white and lime green. And then, in my opinion, I knew it was going in this blue pot right from the beginning, that intense fuchsia-colored Coleus with the lime green trim. I'm pinching out the centers of these Coleus to encourage branching, and actually this beautiful container is still in my greenhouse. Jim taught me that Coleus like heat, something I never knew before. In this black ceramic pot, my sister and I decided to go with what I think is the showstopper of all the Coleus I grew this year. That color Jim actually calls black, that deep, deep red. There's a paler pink one with tones of that black along the edges, and the two of them are complemented by this lime green that's splashed with a recent watering. The pot as a whole is going to fill out because, as I said, I've been pinching out the centers, and I will give you a shot of what this container looks like just a week later. You can see how the pinching has encouraged growth from the bottom and in the center. This one is showing new colors every time leaves emerge, something that Jim said to expect. Just beautiful. I'm so delighted with this tub. One thing I'm going to have to keep an eye on is whether this lime green one with its shades of color starting in the center is going to be able to keep up with that multicolored specimen, and whether this delicate pink one, which so far is the smallest of the three, is similarly going to be able to hold its own in this pot. No worries, Jim says to be ruthless with pruning, which I am prepared to do. This terracotta container, which is now moved to our back door, is shown here in the greenhouse when it was first planted up. We chose 4 Coleus specimens for this one. One of my white centers with the lime green around the edge. Probably only had about 5 of those. In the center, one that has splashes of white with veins of deep burgundy and fuchsia pink, a lime green, and on the other side, a Coleus that looks terracotta to me. And the combination of these 4 look really good in the terracotta container and will soon cover all that soil. Santa Claus had his island of misfit toys, and I have my tub of misfit Coleus, missing leaves. They got knocked over and broke off. They've been pinched off brutally, or they just haven't grown like this little fellow. All of them are being given some TLC in their own container, and I hope that with time and some more extra care in my greenhouse, they will emerge to take their place outside. This white and green one has splashes of fuchsia and burgundy on the leaves, and this one, I think, is a jitters with its stripe down the center of the leaf. Jim says jitters are very slow to grow. This one certainly isn't slow to grow. Look at the size of it compared to my hands. I have no idea what to do with it. It's so big. It takes up an entire 10-inch container, but look at the color starting to come in the center. This is definitely the king of Coleus in my garden. We have 17 hanging baskets, and each one got a coleus. They're shown here in their early days shortly after planting, but the coleus pinched back to encourage branching are fitting right in amongst the mixed flowers and greenery. The fuchsias are starting to bloom, the coleus are starting to grow and brighten up in the sunshine, and I'm looking forward to how they develop as the season progresses. Thanks so much for coming along on my Coleus journey. Jim, you've got another convert. I'm growing Coleus every year from now on.